October the 22nd of 2020, South Carolina Republican Party paid on the mark $468,308. 2 days earlier, October the 20th, 2020, South Carolina Republican Party, your party, paid on the mark $329,000. I don't know if I've got time to go through page 2, but I can quickly add it up: 200, 300,000, 500,000, 600,000, $1,200,000, $1,500,000 on top of what appears to be about $2,500,000. It looks like close to $4 million paid by the South Carolina Republican Party to own the mark. If they can spend $4 million on Own the Mark, they can afford to have a center for you, the people, to go and vote for the chairman of the Republican Party in this state. It's just a matter of priorities, isn't it? You can have your priorities to pay your friends, a lot of them taking your money and spending it on companies out of state to do work in your state. Spend the money of the party in South Carolina. Live local. They can spend it, and I've learned more in the last several months since the election, the attempted theft of the election. Emphasize attempted. I have spent more time learning more about politics than I ever wanted to know. I got a call last year, and I was asked to donate $375,000 to President Trump. Trump victory. Well, I did, because I love Donald Trump. And so do you, because he is our president. And don't you forget it. I loved him in March of 2020 when I was asked to give that donation. I loved him when I went to vote for him on October the 21st in person in Georgia. I loved him after he won, and the media and the crooks tried to tell you that he lost. And I'm going to tell you this. I saw where Mr. McKissick said he'd been endorsed by the president. I'm not sure when the first endorsement was given. It was posted on Mr. McKissick's Twitter page on 2/23 of this year. And then I decided I would run, and I announced it. And then the next day, even though he allegedly had an endorsement from the president a month and a half earlier, he got another one, it looks like. Maybe, maybe not. But I'll tell you this. If Donald Trump endorsed Mr. McKissick, I still love Donald Trump. Nothing's going to change my mind about a man that I believe is doing God's will for this country, that stands for patriotism, that cares about freedom, and a man that has fought for 4 years and is going to continue to fight for you, the people. Donald Trump is my friend. And I love America. God, I love America. I love the United States of America, the Republic. We are a democratic republic. We're not a corporation. Give us our republic back. No more corporations and no more Rothschild, Rockefeller money controlling our money. Get them out of our country. Get them out of here. And when they get out of here, they can take the CIA with them. They don't belong in our country either. Get them out of here. And while we're loading them up and getting them out of our country where we love freedom, let's remind them that America is made up of the middle class. We've got people at the lower level, but America gives them an opportunity to rise up. America gave it to me, and it gives it to every one of us that are willing to work hard and enjoy the opportunities that freedom presents to us. So all the people like Bill Gates, and George Soros, and all the globalists that want to have a ruling elite and a servant class with nothing in between, they want to steal our middle class and destroy our small businesses. Get out of here when you take the CIA and the dadgum bankers with you. Get them out of America. Because America does not belong to them. America belongs to you, we the people. And what you now are feeling and have been since I'm sure you saw the debacle of November 2020 is you're feeling the fire of freedom in your belly. The spirit of freedom. You can't touch it. You can't smell it. But you can breathe the fresh air of liberty every day. You know it's time to fight for your liberty. And you're not fighting for it for yourselves. Most of us in this room have lived long enough to see the benefits of freedom. We learned that America was good, not bad. Some of us didn't pay attention. I'm one of them. I thought they were teaching my kids the same thing in school they taught me. They were not. So when we take the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller bankers and the CIA and the globalists out of here, take the communists with them. Get them out of our country. This is your party. It's not mine. It's not Drew McKissick's. You know what? It's not even President Trump's. It's yours. You've been shut out. Things have been hidden from you. The money changers have been at work. It's time to get them out. Because right now, in South Carolina, you need to look over to Drew McKissick. And you need to tell soon-to-be former Chairman McKissick that it's 1776 again in South Carolina. We're not going to let you take away our party. This party belongs to South Carolina Republicans. And don't you ever forget it. And don't you ever stop fighting to take your party back. This is your party. It's not Drew McKissick. And the rich people and the money changers. This party doesn't belong to Lindsey Graham. I don't care how long he's been senator. Get him out of Washington, D.C. And then when you get Lindsey Graham out of Washington, D.C., tell Lindsey Graham to put up a sign that says, "Do not enter." Nikki Haley, don't go there. She's not a Republican either. I put something up on my Telegram, at LIN Wood Speaks Truth, talking about the Rhino Republicans, and I saw some replies, and they said, "Well, Wood doesn't know how to spell Rhino Republicans. Rhino is all caps." Well, I'm not perfect. Neither are any of us. So I went back and fixed it and put it in all caps. Republican in name only. I go over to the South Carolina Republican Party website, or I get these things from the South Carolina Republican Party recently in the emails, and right there at the top, it tells me President Trump has endorsed Drew McKissick. And I thought, wow, why am I running? It looks like the party's already decided who's going to win. That's not true, is it? Because you're going to help me, help you, because we're going to let LIN win. You can win your party back with LIN. I'm going to fight for you. You're going to know where your money's spent. You're going to tell us where to spend it. You're going to know what your budget is, because it's your budget. It's not Mr. McKissick's. And it ain't Lindsey Graham's either. This is not the bank for the Rhino Republicans, who do nothing more than put money in their pocket, stay in government too long, put too much money in their friends' pockets to get power and influence. The power in this country and the power in this state and the power in this party belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to Lindsey Graham. It doesn't belong to Drew McKissick. It doesn't belong to whoever on the mark is. It belongs to the people. God gave the people the power. Government doesn't tell the people what to do. We tell government. Drew McKissick doesn't tell you what to do. You tell Drew McKissick. It is your party. And it's time for you to take it back. And I want to help you. Somebody asked me, they said, well, Mr. Wood, what is your vision for South Carolina? I thought for a minute, and I thought, well, let me see now. I'm not running for office to glorify LIN Wood. And I've got some pretty conservative views. I love the Constitution. And boy, oh boy, do I love the Bill of Rights. And I love honest elections. Because if you don't have an honest election, you've lost the rule of law. I also don't like corrupt politicians. When we send the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller banking people, and we send the globalists, and we send the communists, and we send the CIA out of this country, they can take the corrupt politicians with them. Because we don't need corrupt politicians in this country or in the state of South Carolina. Their day is over. They showed themselves in November of 2020. They had their chance. They lost because you, the people, you are going to win. You already have, because you've got the spirit of freedom. You were born with it. Don't ever forget it. Let it guide your every decision as you fight to take your country back and to take your party back. Rely on that spirit of freedom. Rely on God Almighty, because He gave you the power. And He does not take it back. And you don't have to give it away. I kept seeing all those endorsements by the president, apparently. And I said, well, okay. Maybe I need to figure out, since I'm not really an astute politician, newbie, maybe I need to figure out now exactly what it means to be a Rhino Republican, a Republican in name only. I'll give you an example. A Republican in name only goes, I love Trump. What can Trump do for me? Endorse me, endorse me, endorse me. Help me, Mr. President. Where was Drew McKissick when I was fighting the battles to reverse the November 2020 fraudulent election in this country? He was not there. He was not there. Donald Trump stood by his side. And when it came time to fight, to uncover the fraud, to uncover the illegality, and let me tell you something, you had it in South Carolina because you used ESS voting machines. They're full of fraud too. President Trump probably won this state by over 20%, not 7%. But it wasn't just a matter of saying, well, Mr. President, we carried South Carolina. In order to be elected President of the United States, you got to win the country. So when I was filing lawsuits on my own to undo the illegal election in Georgia, I never saw Drew McKissick by my side. And when I stood up and I took the heat and called it honestly and spoke the truth and said this is a fraudulent election, I didn't see Drew McKissick there. I looked through his Twitter. I've looked online. I haven't found one comment where Drew McKissick said this election has got to be investigated. It's got to be overturned because the people elected Donald Trump. He is our president. That is the example of a rhino Republican. All talk, and when it gets tough, no action. All bark and no bite. You and I agree on that one. You know, I sent Lindsey Graham some money after I thought he gave a passionate speech for Brett Kavanaugh. And boy, oh boy, did Brett Kavanaugh, did he let us down or what? And Amy Coney Barrett, we got a lot of rhino Republicans on the Supreme Court of the United States, and we've got corrupt people on the Supreme Court of the United States, and we're going to expose every one of them. Because every lie will be revealed. Every lie will be revealed. Watch it happen. I don't know exactly what you'll want me to do if you elect me. Somebody said, well, Lynn, you're going up against the establishment. Good luck. I said, listen, you look back at my 43 years of practicing law, I never shied away from a big fight. I took on Goliath several times. With Richard Jewell, I took on the FBI. They're crooked. I took on the media for 26 years. You talk about Goliath, but you talk about corrupt liars. That's your media, propaganda. Don't believe it. Nobody came to me and said, we're going to guarantee you a win. Wouldn't want that. All they did was come to me and tell me that the people wanted change. And they wanted somebody to fight for them. And I'll tell you this, if you elect me, I will fight for you, and I will fight like a Flynn, and I will never quit fighting for you. I will fight for we the people, because I love the people. So, if you want to know where I stand on any issue, I stand with the people. When they said, what's your vision for South Carolina? I said, the vision of the people. You tell me what you want for your state. And it's my job as your representative to do your will, not the will of the money changers. I want to represent the people. The one thing that I do want, and then I'm going to close my unprepared remarks. Because I always pray before I get up, and I live by the Bible now. And God, I wish I'd known this a long time ago. God says in the Bible, when they call you before the tribunal, don't worry about what you're going to say. I'll tell you the words. And then you'll be like Moses. The voice is the voice of Moses, but the words are the words of God. So my remarks were unprepared other than to pray and ask God what to say and how to say it. And I do my best as an imperfect person to commit 100% of my life to God. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. And every time they've thrown another false accusation at me, threatened my law license, had me responsible for the BLM Antifa insurrection in Washington, blamed me for the United States Senate turning Democratic, told me I was a fraudulent voter, brought up some issues I have with my family. Told me they wanted to take my name off of Mercer Law School because I gave them $1 million, and now I guess they're ashamed of me. Why? I'm the same man now that I was for 43 years. The only thing that changed is that I supported Donald Trump and I fought for an honest election, and they don't like it. So let them attack me. Let them keep attacking me. Because the more they attack me to destroy me, the more God will lift me up. And this message will be heard by the people. My enemies have been defeated. So my agenda is your agenda. That's why I would be called your representative. There's only one thing that I would urge. And if we had a sharp disagreement, if you came to me and said, now, Chairman Wood, we kind of looked around and decided that we want to pass a state law that says that Roe v. Wade is the law of South Carolina, I'll resign as your chairman. The United States Constitution, by the words of the people that wrote it, who told all of us they were divinely inspired by God and they based the Constitution on God's Word, the Holy Bible. They told us that, and that's our Constitution. Life begins at creation. The Bible tells me so. Roe versus Wade is unconstitutional. It needs to be reversed. Stop killing the little children. I'm tired of people going on the Supreme Court and dancing around the issue. Well, what are you going to do with Roe v. Wade? Maybe I don't do this, maybe I do that. We can't say because we got to wait until we get a case. Baloney. Tell us what you stand for before we put you on the court. Tell us if you stand for the United States Constitution being based on God's law. And if you do, interpret it that way, and the decisions ought to be short and simple. Free speech is free speech. We don't need a 50-page opinion to try to confuse us. Now, Presley, I didn't mean to get so controversial. Well, I bet the attacks will start tomorrow, threefold. Bring them on. I'm fearless. God did not create you or me with the spirit of fear. I'm fearless. I might disagree with you, but we'll always respect each other. And if there's a hard stand I can't take, I'll tell you. But I don't think we're going to have differences, because I think we stand for the same thing. I don't think you want child sex trafficking any more than I do. We got to end child sex trafficking. They've covered it up for too long. They've made too much money on these children. The media won't tell you about it because it's the powerful people in the world that are making all the money on our children. It's got to stop. Let it stop in South Carolina. South Carolina was where the Revolutionary War was fought. They wanted your rice. They wanted your indigo. They wanted your port. South Carolina. The property I bought, the Revolutionary War was fought on it. South Carolina was what they wanted. And South Carolina said nope. and South Carolina led the way for our freedom in 1776. And you, the members of the Republican Party, are going to lead the way for the freedom of South Carolina in 2021. I know you'll do it. My last comment, and then I'll stay, and I love questions. And I'll always give you an honest answer. I face the good, the bad, and the ugly in my life. I try to live a life of truth. So if you ask me a question, I'll tell you the truth. Simple way to do business. Is that the way Mr. McKissick does business? Or does he want to hide behind a virtual convention? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give Mr. McKissick an opportunity to come up and talk to me. I will see Mr. McKissick in any state. But in South Carolina, I'll see him in any county, at any meeting, at any group, large or small. I'll debate Mr. McKissick. I'll let my record stand up against his record. I'll let him tell you what he stands for, and I'll tell you what I stand for, and you, the party, decide. The one thing I do stand for, and I'll end with this, and I hope you have some questions. Friendly ones, fine. Tough ones, I've dealt with some tough ones before. I like the tough ones better. Because usually the people get some tough love in response. They don't like it because they get cold, hard truth. I do have one thing that would be at the top of whatever my vision as it's defined is. This country needs honesty. This country was founded under God. This country needs God back in the schools. And this country needs God back in government. So I would hope that if you decide to elect me your chairman, that you will support the men and women that as a prerequisite to asking for your vote will tell you unashamedly that they will be honest with you, honest with your money, honest in representing you, that they will tell you that they are a child of God. We need God-fearing people back in government. Let's just be honest about it. We're not going to fix America until we put God back in our government. Thank you very much. Thank you for the honor of being here. I'm going to see you again. I'm just starting, first campaign ever. It's not going to be my last. I'm going to rally. I'm going to work hard. If you'll work for me and with me for yourselves, we'll win this. I promise you that. Thank you, Presley.
Len, hey, give him a big round of applause. Okay, we've got a microphone over here. Lynn's going to stay up here. We've got about 20 minutes. If you've got a question for Mr. Wood, Scott, raise your hand, wave the microphone right here. Find your way up to this microphone. Make your question succinct and direct and to the point. And Mr. Wood will answer. And we've got about 20 minutes for Q&A. We won't get everybody in. And then we got a couple of announcements after the Q&A.
Now, we could cut this short, and I could give you the answer to all the questions. Are you ready?
There you go.
Mr. Wood, thank you for everything you've said. I got one question. What would you do if you're elected to stop Richland County DSS from selling children out the back door?
Well, you know, I don't know the powers of the chairman except as he or she would exert the power of the people. But we have ignored those issues. I read it. People that claim under the guise of government agencies that they're there to help families and children, they're not helping children. They're taking children away from their parents. So I would, in my own self, if it's my money, I'd spend a lot of that money instead of on what this buyer's place is. I would spend it on people investigating and prosecuting the people that are taking away your children. God loves the little children most of all. And it is our humanity at stake. It's not about legal or political issues. These are our children. If we cannot protect our children, we have lost our humanity. So I would fight hard to protect the children.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Lewin. My name is Betsy Lamb. I have one question for you. Will you please run against Senator Graham in 2026?
Now, one campaign at a time. I want to be your chairman because I want to represent you. If you elect me, I'm going to serve you. But if somebody knocks on my door, like old Presley, Ken, Mark, and the time is right, and they said, hey, Lynn, let's take down Lindsey Graham. I will consider doing it, but I'm going to wait until first I win this election for chairman of the South Carolina Republican Party. But somebody's going to take him on, and the South Carolina Republican Party is going to support the people that take him on. I don't have to beat him. You can beat him. I think he's already hearing the message right now. That's why he's got Drew scrambling around like crazy trying to make up stuff about me, because he knows that his days are numbered.
Yeah, Mr. Wood, I'd like to know when I am going to see some justice for what happened on November 3rd, 2020, because I'm getting tired. I know the fraud. You know the fraud. Everybody in this room knows the fraud, and it's still standing, and I'm supposed to pretend like it didn't happen. Will anything ever come of this?
I could make headlines if I said I knew the answer, but I think I do. But I'm going to give you an answer, and then I'll explain it. The answer is God is in control of our elections. We are, and I said it back in December at Wills Park, this is the greatest battle in our mankind's history between good and evil. God has already won. So people say, does President Trump have a plan? If he does, he's not going to tell me. He's not going to tell you either. I loved when General Michael Flynn was on an interview, and it was interesting because the reporter said, now, General Flynn, let's just get a couple of things out of the way right up front. Now, that was a loaded question coming. I'm sure Michael didn't know it was coming. Ha. He said, did President Trump invoke the Insurrection Act? Flynn said, no. Could he have told you yes? He said, no. He said, well, there's been a lot of talk about, does President Trump have a plan? Is there a plan? And Flynn said, well, that's nonsense. And everybody I saw on Telegram, and they just went, boom. Flynn says no plan. Flynn says no Insurrection Act. And then at the end of the interview, the reporter said, well, I bet a friend of mine a fine bottle of wine that President Trump would be president for the next 4 years. I guess I need to go on and pay him. General Flynn said, well, don't pay him yet. Hold off on that right now. He said, because really, somewhere nearby down the road, you may open up and uncork that wine and we'll have a glass together. If he uncorks the wine, he won the bet. President Trump is not done. He did not leave this country to give it to the corrupt cabal. If he did, if Donald Trump did that, then he's not the Donald Trump that we have seen over the course of his life's work. He loves America. He took a lot for 4 years to serve us. I think Donald Trump had a plan when he came into office. If you go back and listen to his 2016 inaugural address, Listen to his words, not mine. But he said to you similar things that I've said to you today. For too long, a limited number of people have had all the power in this country. We're going to return it back to the people. And I loved it when he said it, because when he said it, a brigade of members of the United States military walked down behind him, and then when he finished saying it, they marched off. I believe Donald Trump loves this country. I believe that he and other people that love this country have a plan for this country. I know God does. I know they're doing God's will. So I'm never going to give up on November 2020. I think the election was clearly stolen. I think Donald Trump is still the President of the United States. And until you can fight me to the death to prove otherwise, I will always recognize him as president. Joe Biden is fake. It's a fake president. Let's call it like it is. Now, General Flynn will probably give an interview tomorrow and say, Wood doesn't know what he's talking about. Just be patient. There's a lot of things going on right now that don't make sense. Wouldn't you agree? Where are all the Hollywood people? Where's Mr. Clapper and Mr. Brennan? What happened to the CIA? Is there a new director? I don't know what's going on because someone has said, Lynn, I'm the boss and here's what's happening. But I know what the Spirit of God tells me. And I know that God has a plan. And when the evil when evil rises to this level, sit back and wait. Pray and wait on the Lord, because he's going to crush it. And he's going to remind us of how much we love our freedom. We're never going to take it for granted again. Once he gives us back our freedom, once he gives us back our country, we're going to love it like we did in 1776. And nobody's ever going to try to take it away again. In 1776, a third of the people in this country said, well, let's stick around with King George. Seems to be okay. A third said, well, King George, new country, I could go either way. A third of the country said, we want freedom. They were the patriots. And a third of the country, they won our freedom because a third of the country, the patriots, had God on their side, and one man plus God is a majority. Trust God and wait on the Lord. He's going to act.
Mr. Wood, I don't have a question, except I'd like to have your autograph. But
I'm happy to give you more autographs.
Mr. Wood, I pray for you every day.
Please, thank you. Thank you so much.
And I am so glad you chose South Carolina for your home. We love you, and we are very happy to have you here.
Well, I'd like to tell you that I chose South Carolina as my home, but the truth is God chose it for me.
That's good. He chose me to be here.
And I'm pretty happy with what his choice was.
Yes, God's good. I met some folks, this guy, some other folks. I'm almost 68 years old.
I'm 68.
Cool beans.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. And I was at home after the election, and I was so depressed and down and out. And I thought, God, what's going on, God? You don't love us? What's going on? And I got so disheartened. And then I got on Facebook with some friends, just people, total strangers actually, wasn't friends. We're going to Washington. I said, let's see, check my bank account. Yeah, I can do that. So I began to call people and I said, pray for me, I'm going to Washington. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind?
I've had that asked, same question.
My sister says, what 68-year-old grandmother goes to Washington to march? I said, your sister. And I went. And I had a ball.
Well, God bless you.
And I did not one time feel like taking over nothing. Didn't feel like one time I needed to take over nothing or rush the Capitol or nothing. And so did the other 2 million people that was there too.
You just went there to stand.
I went there to stand and pray for my country and my
Well,
president.
God bless you. And I don't know if it was 1 million or 2 million, but I can tell you what they did. They went there to exercise their constitutional, God-given right of freedom of assembly. Peaceful. It was not the patriots that attacked the Capitol that day. Check the facts. They'll come out soon. Everything that is covered will soon be uncovered, I believe. But then what happened? The good people that went up there, next thing you know, you got the FBI, the cleanup squad for the CIA. You got the FBI calling you and intimidating you. Give us your camera. We might arrest you. Are you kidding me? This is America. This is not Venezuela. They come to see me and say, I want to talk to you. I'm going to say, get off my property. You'll see me when I have a lawyer, and when my lawyer's here, he's going to look over at you and say, we're not going to answer a question. Because Lynn Wood knows what you did to Richard Jewell when you tried to trick him. We know what you did to Michael Flynn when you tried to put him in jail. Do not trust the FBI. They're corrupt.
Today, I can't tell you how. Elaine.
Elaine, just like it's always spelled. Hey, Elaine. Oh, in the All right, watch step. Well, Elaine get up down that step a lot better than Joe Biden could get up and down the steps of the Air Force One. I watched that clip of him slip and then fall down. I thought, man, that looks like something Chevy Chase would do. Maybe it was Chevy Chase.
Hey, Mr. Wood, my name is Ross Jones, and first I want to thank you for reinvigorating a party that had largely disenfranchised many patriots. But I have a serious question that's brought to me a lot, and it's one that I voiced to myself in the mirror, and that is this. From your office, when you were defending the president, there seemed to be several quotes from your office where it offered hope that something was imminent. And then those things never materialized, and it took someone who up till then had been touted as Teflon. I mean, you had a relatively spotless reputation.
They just didn't know the whole truth.
And the whole truth probably will never come out to the rank and file out here. And we understand that. We're not ignorant. So explain to us how those statements can be explained away so that we vote for you, not against McKissick. I want to vote for something.
You need to stand for something. You need to vote for somebody.
Yes,
you're right.
I don't want to vote against somebody.
We've kind of gotten into politics where it's who's going to cast the most stones and the worst stones. Look at their records. Make them earn your vote. It's a fair question. I was naive, and I did not see the theft or attempted theft of the election coming. I saw the color revolution coming. I knew it was not about an election because the other side was a communist and a crook and a communist corrupted person. They didn't campaign. They were laughing at us. And then they claimed they got more votes than any present history of the United States. That's errant nonsense. But I didn't see it coming. I was telling all my friends, I made a few bets. Trump's going to get 75% of the vote. I think I was right. In fact, I know I was. And so when it happened, I experienced something I'd never experienced before, and I think we are still experiencing it, what's called psyops, where they create a fake reality and try to get you to react the way they expect you to react. So,
and sir, you have been accused of that, having been a part of that.
Well, I was not. All I've ever done is to try to take information that I thought was credible and pass it along. I've never claimed I do not represent President Trump. I never have. When I file my lawsuits, I filed them on my behalf. I've never claimed to be an advisor to President Trump. I'm not. So what you were getting from me was information that I thought at the time was credible. Credible enough where I wrote folks and I said, be ready, there could be an EBS alert. Make sure you've got plenty of food, make sure you've got water, make sure you got your Second Amendment rights protected. And I had to make a decision. Seemed to be credible. The events seemed to fall into place that something was going to happen. I couldn't believe it was going to take this long. I didn't realize it was about more than an election. And so I made the decision, better to be safe than sorry. My timing was wrong. But tell the people in Texas that wrote me and said, you saved our lives, because when the snowstorm hit, we had gotten our food and our water and our Second Amendment rights. So I can never represent that I'm always going to be right, because if I did, that would be a lie. I did make those mistakes, and whether I was set up, doesn't matter. My intentions were good, and at the time it was the best evidence that I thought was credible, and I put it out there because I wanted to give it to the people. And so I stand by what I said then, even though it was wrong. But if you'll look and see over the last several months, I stopped trying to time events because I realized, hey, LIN, this is on God's time, nobody else's. So what I wanted to have happen, and when I heard something that sounded like what I wanted it to be, I was too quick to pull the trigger and say it. Now I've learned to be patient. It's difficult. But patience simply means to wait on the Lord. So I don't think I'll repeat those mistakes. My discernment is better now than it was back then. Trust me, I've learned a lot in the last 6 months. And we're learning every day. I'm not perfect. And I want you to help teach me to be better.
I think that's the answer many of us were looking for.
Well, thank you for asking me the question.
Hey, my name is Joshua Tucker. I've got a question about vaccinations. Can we count on you to guard our right to deny this vaccination?
I want to remember I told you I'd tell you the truth. I think I know the question from the reaction, but I didn't really get it clear enough, so would you mind restating it for me?
Yes, sir. Will you guard our right to deny the vaccination or the requirement to take vaccinations in the state of South Carolina and the communist passport system that the federal government's trying to pass?
I love the United States Constitution. Nobody's going to tell you Wood doesn't love the Constitution. I love it. Those were our rights. They were given to us. They were given to us by God. The Bill of Rights simply recognized the rights that we had as basic human rights from God. Somebody mandating a vaccine, somebody mandating a vaccine passport, somebody telling you got to have this and have that to your body, that is, in my view, unconstitutional, and I will never support it. And I don't know. I don't know all of the information, and look, I'm just running for chairman of the party. I'm not president. So I don't know what considerations the President of the United States has to make. So I'm not going to criticize the fact that he has supported it. He's also been clear from day one, hydroxychloroquine, there are other remedies. He said, make your choice. But here's what I'll tell you. I studied up on old Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a student of the Henry Kissinger theory of depopulation. Get rid of that middle class. Get all us rich people up here and get all the people down here to work for us. Depopulation. And then didn't take me long to find out that old Bill Gates doesn't have any medical training. And then Bill Gates wants to get up there and say, hey, I've got Moderna. I got a vaccine that's going to save your life. You can't try to tell me that you want to save my life when I know under depopulation you want to kill me. Bill Gates, I wouldn't get near missile range anything Bill Gates did. It's not going to go in my body. And then when I go ask people, well, we took the vaccine. Look, a lot of people, they play on your fear. I don't care what other people think. It's my opinion. I think COVID was the flu. It was a tough flu. It was a tough flu. It attacked your respiratory system.
It's a Kung flu. It's the Kung flu.
Well, yeah, the China flu. But I know this. I believe if we had real numbers, we'd find that the deaths from COVID were right in line with the deaths from previous flu seasons. By the way, what happened to the flu last year? And whoa, what happened to the common cold? Look, I had my eye doctor, and I said, "Hey, Gavin, did you get the vaccine?" He said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "Did you get both shots?" He said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "Did they tell you that you can still get COVID?" "Yeah, they told me that." I said, "Did they tell you that you can still spread it, even if you don't know you have it?" He said, "Yeah, they told me that." "They tell you have to wear the mask and stand 6 feet apart still?" And he went, Yeah, they told me that." I said, "Why'd you take the vaccine?" I said, "Did you knowingly want to alter your RNA?" He said, "What? Did it do that?" I said, "You didn't bother to study it." So listen, my advice would be this. I've got my own bias against it. It's not going to change. And I've got strong feelings about the constitutionality of any attempt to tell you to wear a mask or take any medication unless there is overwhelming scientific medical evidence that says it's necessary for the safety of others. There's no such evidence about this dead gum COVID. The flu is the flu. Is the flu. So, I would say this about any issue, including the vaccine. Do your homework. Go look at it and research it yourself. Come to your own conclusion, because that's the conclusion that you will feel strongest is the one you draw for yourself. It's called freedom to choose. But do it in an educated fashion. Don't do it because the media told you to do it. And don't do it when Joe Biden says, take the vaccine. Don't do it. Don't do it. You done with me?
Lynn, we could listen to you all night, but the clock is ticking. Stay here, please, for a minute. We're getting reports that the AP is out there saying there's nobody here. I think we got 400 chairs and probably another 100 people sitting. So if you would, Lynn, we're going to do a selfie here. Turn around.
It's going to be me and the people.
All right.
Let them know you're here. Wow, what an empty room. Where are all the people? Where are all the people? Presley, I don't think we can believe the Associated Press.
Here we go.
Uh-oh. Looks like the Associated Press is lying like it's been doing for years.
Get in there, gotta get closer.
Proof of fake news and proof that we the people care. Thank you for showing up on an afternoon in the middle of the week. I know you love America. I know you love your freedom. I know you love South Carolina. And I know you love your Republican Party. Take it back. I'll help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Lynn Wood, give him a big round of applause. Woo! All right. Hold on for just 1 minute. I want everybody to take a selfie. Everybody to take a selfie, post it on your social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you got, let them know. Also, Olga's going to tell you about... Okay. Listen up, please. 2 minutes. I need 2 minutes with a quiet, please. For all of you who are going to the makeup meeting on the other side of the hotel, there's a Form 1 that you have to get. They're going to be outside the door. Oh, the My SCGOP instructions. The Form 1 you'll get over there. Please, if you're new and you're going to makeup meeting for the first time, go over there and get the instructions for My SCGOP, because we want to be able to walk you through that, okay? Also, one quick announcement. Did you like having Lin Wood here today? How would you like to have him back in a couple months? I want to let you know that the United Patriots Alliance is presenting on June 4th and 5th, Rock the Red USA, here in Greenville. We've got Lin Wood, we've got General Flynn coming in, and we got a bunch of other great speakers. Go to rocktheredusa.com. You'll be able, by this weekend, you will be able to purchase your tickets. Okay, we're working on the ticket purchase site, but we don't want you to forget about that. Okay, listen. All of those of you who are going to the makeup meeting, please go out there, get your instructions. I'm going to have Lynn come back up on the stage. We're going to take a few minutes for you to come by and say hello. We're not going to have a lot of time to pose for pictures, but just a few minutes. And show up next Tuesday night, wherever they're going to hold it, at whatever time, the Greenville County GOP County Convention. Thank you all for coming.
Is there anything they need to hear about games going on, or
y'all want him to talk to Channel 4? Because if so, y'all need to pull into the side.
I will. I want to get him up here first. Let me get him up.